Okay, welcome to the DEFRAG. This is the DEFRAG for episode 7 of Mothership Gradient Descent. And lots of interesting things happen. So these guys have thoughts. Take it away.
Lots of thoughts. Lots of thoughts. First of all, I would just like to say congratulations, guys. I feel like we got a lot fucking done this session. This was like good.
You did.
It was really nice.
A bunch of sanity damage, and I got the bends, and I'm stressed out.
Oh yeah, the Ben situation is getting it's getting kind of bad there. It went and it got bad real fast. Real fast.
We did not lose any bends when we did our rest period, right? When we did that downtime, we did not lose any bends.
Right. We made it worse by going to the bell and coming back.
Did it? Because we rolled again, right?
You had another roll, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
I mentioned this a little bit in our Discord, and I have some thoughts about the beds because I think David was talking about, comparing it to like the nitrogen buildup in your bloodstream and so on, which is of course what the beds is
right.
Physical, but that's a physical thing. What I think is interesting is that the other effect that you get from nitrogen in your bloodstream when you're diving is nitrogen narcosis. I believe is the phrase for it, which makes you kind of loopy, sometimes euphoric, sometimes disoriented and confused. So, and I thought of this because of Mike's, sort of, I love the space station. I want to be here forever. Like that's the kind of euphoric disorientation that kind of corresponds with nitrogen narcosis, kind of 1-to-1, very loosely corresponding, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
Which makes
and Thulsa has memory loss now due to that, which is I think
right. Yeah. Memory loss. So I mean, I don't know. Mechanically, John's probably got a chart of all sorts of fun, terrible things that can happen to us, and gleefully rolling on there to see. Oh, Ted looks like Ted's legs will be coming off next week. Whatever it is. But like, I mean, it suggests there's a treatment, but B, it does make you wonder, like, what's causing it? Is it something in the air? Is it the presence of electromagnetic waves? Or is it just, who cares what causes it? It's spooky shit, and you're playing a role-playing game, and you've got artificial gravity. Why the hell can't we have artificial nitrogen narcosis rays? They don't need to be explained.
I really think that it's some kind of like mental effect, right? Like we're in there, and it's like it's not a biochemical thing, but more like a mental effect. Obviously, there's some kind of system for so many androids to be there as part of some kind of communal communication system. There's already some mad, crazy, psychic Wi-Fi going on in this station just for the communication between Monarch and the androids. And I think just exposure to that, it's like that, the conspiracy theory about 5G and waves going through your head, man. They're going through your head. But I think maybe that's what's going on here for real. Well, for sci-fi, because there's got to be so much of that going on through here just to be in constant communication, because these androids aren't wired, right? But they're still receiving orders and communication. Right. So
I also can't give anything.
There's got to be something like that.
Oh, go ahead, John.
I was just gonna say I can't give anything away, obviously, but what I do like is, because I told you this up front when you're making characters, it's an additional stat. It's not part of the core rules of Mothership. It's an additional thing, but I thought it was really well designed from my perspective. I'm actually looking at the rules for it right now, and how well it sort of dovetails with the intricate systems of not intricate, they're just elegant systems of Mothership, and that it adds like another spiraling. Like really bad thing that sort of just kind of continues to build along with stress and save loss and all that sort of stuff. And what's cool is that they tell you, and I had to make this choice. They say, this is the actual line from the module: some groups like their bend stat to be hidden by the warden, others prefer to know it. And so I chose to make it known, like what the score is. Yeah, but that's what makes it so cool. I like this way. I mean, I don't know what the other way is like, obviously, but I chose to do it this way because I like the fact that it makes you paranoid because it's bad. and it's a tracked stat, right? And so you're constantly sort of wondering, like, what does it mean? Like, how bad is really bad, and how's it going to manifest? And like the questions you were asking, we know, is it something that can be cured? How does it tie into the whole theme of deep sea diving and all that sort of stuff? Is all kind of questions I wanted you guys to ask, which I feel like probably wouldn't have been asked if I tried to make it like a seamless sort of hidden thing, so where I just sort of introduce the fact that, Matt, you have memory lapse, but you don't really understand why you have memory lapse. You know what I mean? I just think it's sort of better to be a little bit more meta about it than try to make it like a seamless verisimilitude sort of thing, which I think aligns with our play style too, that we've kind of been showing throughout.
100%. Like it would be kind of weird actually if it weren't. Right. Like we incorporate meta knowledge, throughout our play as part of what we do anyway. So it would be weird for this not to be. Yeah. And the fact that we don't know much about it and it's this mystery thing, it's fun.
Yeah, I think it's playing out pretty fun.
I wonder if because I feel like a lot of the naming conventions in this game have been very literal so far. Matt made the drawing of the conclusion that it might be like an allegory of like Dante's Inferno, which I find super interesting.
Don't get me started. That's what I'm ready to talk about tonight, baby. You go.
My thought on the bends, I wonder if there's going to be an additional impact for going deep. We are now in the farthest down level of the deep, right? Just the fact that it's called the deep, and then you have something that you suffer from the bends. Are we going to have some additional impact or some additional or does it affect us differently depending on what level we're at, right? Like, does my current bends level of 23, does it manifest differently in reception that it does all the way down here? I guess we'll find out.
I mean, we'll find out at the beginning of next episode, probably.
I think it's fair to say that unless you were extremely lucky / unlucky, nobody would enter into the lobby and the next thing they did would be engineering, right? So by the time you get down here, you're going to have some deep points built up, some bends points, I should say. So it'd be hard to, I see what you're saying, Mike, and I think it's interesting. But my guess is that, it accumulates normally. It affects us not differently throughout the station, but of course differently the higher your number goes.
Sure.
And just the deeper you go, the higher your number is going to be, kind of thing would be my assumption. But it's an interesting point. What I thought was interesting about what John said was that if we didn't know the score and John started talking about Matt's memory loss, I don't know that I would have attributed that necessarily to the bend right away.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I didn't hear that.
It would be more fucked up, kind of, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, particularly if John had been dropping hints about how we weren't really humans all along, something like that. Like, what do you mean?
Like, it's definitely like another effective way to kind of make to run the campaign, I think. But I think it's like, my feeling is because of the way that our group kind of plays, that you would always be wondering, like, is that just like narrative flair on John's part, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just kind of feel like this way they were doing it just kind of aligns more with the way that we do things. So, and I think it's giving you guys a healthy dose of paranoia, which is the whole fucking point.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I would
go ahead, Matt.
If we can, I've been just dying about this Dante's Inferno stuff. This whole thing maps 1-to-1 Dante's Inferno. Everything that we've seen so far, everything that's been hinted at so far, guys, this is our map to what is going on. Right?
Let's hear your
this whole thing,
allegory.
This whole station, right, is rings upon rings that go down and go down and go down, right? And everyone that we've been to so far maps. Okay, first circle, limbo, right? It's this thing that it's this passage between. You're not in this place, you're not in that place. Very little happens in limbo, but these reception rooms, this place where stuff has happened, but nothing is really going on there so much. It tracks 1-to-1 limbo. Second circle, where we got the weird big penis columns and people are being like poop shoots and all that stuff. That is the second circle. Second circle is the circle of lust, right? So lustful individuals are of the second circle of hell. Maps again Oh man, I'm getting my conspiracy thing going on.
Okay, wasn't that the same level as all the like the school kid androids? I don't know if that fits. It's kind of.
But the giant penises trump the school kids. But they're also like the result, right? Like the kids who are born of this. What's a third one?
Gluttony.
We
which
haven't
is the
gone
financial situation.
Yeah, so level 3 is the factory. You found that out this session.
We haven't gone there yet.
Yeah.
Level 4 is greed and punishment, like sin. Sin is greed and punishment. So there was the ghost that we just interacted with who wanted to punish us, right? Punish them all. And then the other one, like the other area, is the financial area, and there we're tempted to kill children for our own greed to get these artifacts. And here's what's scary: if Monarch is on the 5th circle, which is where I forget what his name is. He told us
Caius.
That's wrath, right? That is wrath. So Monarch might be angry. He might be pissed, but we got to go there and find out. But we have this map, and everything's been like 1-to-1 so far. And it's so cool to like make these connections. Okay, maybe I'm paranoid, but
I don't.
Yeah,
I do.
I don't know, man.
It's gotta be.
I
It's
just learned
gotta
more
be.
about Dante's Inferno in this conversation than I think I ever knew before. I never read it. I won't be honest. I never read it. Italian poetry is not my forte.
My knowledge is from the Dukes of Hell from Monster Manual 1.
Exactly. Thank you, John. Like, most of my stuff is all like, it's all shit that has been based on it, obviously by people who have read it extensively.
Yeah.
But I'm like, wait a minute, which circle of hell was Baphomet? I don't remember.
It's Beelzebub.
Beelzebub.
But yeah, like just like as we go, like what to expect and what to possible ways to like. And even the ghost. Okay, so this is a sidestep, right? I got excited again about this ghost the ghost in the machine that we just the surgeon. I don't know what his really name is, right? With the guy with the scalpels circling his head. I love how literary this model is, because this one, the guy was talking about like suffering and the end to suffering, and like when is suffering enough? And if you look it up, like Buddhist practices and stuff, it's like it's enlightenment. Like what is at the end of suffering, which is like acceptance and enlightenment. And that's the key to getting past this ghost, right? Is acceptance, enlightenment, letting it be, right? Just like letting things be on this like Buddhist level.
I'm just gonna say though, the way of getting past that ghost is actually just to stick your head in the sand and pretend it's not happening. Blah blah blah.
Exactly.
Blah, blah.
Right. You just
of enlightenment.
You be like the state of enlightenment is a state of just being and acceptance. You just let it be. You don't pay attention to it. You don't.
You're ignoring it, right? Like
denial.
It's denial. Like you're literally doing the anti thing of enlightenment. I mean, we're not going to wax philosophical too long about this. I did want to just mention,
I like mine better. Go ahead.
One thing that happened that might have
mix your Buddhism and your Christianity, Matt. Come on, get it straight. All right, go ahead.
Well, everybody knows one of those circles of hell is for the Buddhists.
We're an anti-Buddhist podcast, but
no, we're not.
That's not true.
No. One thing that happened that I think might have serious implication, and I think it's my fault, is that in the very beginning of this whole thing, one of the things that Arcady said to us, and I was listening to a podcast with my son, taking him to tennis, was Arcady was like, "Oh, Monarch, man, last thing you want to do is make him mad. And what makes him mad? Messing with the station." So setting off that EMP on one of those towers, like in that room, if that was like some sort of critical structure, like we might have made him mad at this point. Did anyone bring that up already? Am I fever dreaming this?
I mentioned
no. That's 100%. And Thulsa is totally gonna he did it when that comes up.
That is a valuable line of thinking. As I'll put that out there.
Yeah. Line?
What Mike just voiced is a valuable line of thinking. If it's correct or not, I'm not going to say, but it's a valuable. Right. It's worth exploring. Related to that room, I should point out too, or maybe realize that it's not an avenue that you guys explore, which is fine because shit hit the fan. But the body that Dixon and Thulsa found initially, right, that was all jacked up and punctured and rotting and all that kind of stuff. You remember, like, they were small puncture wounds, right? And I know that you guys made the connection whenever you saw the ghost with the scalpels, right? That whole thing. But just remember that the scalpels never actually hurt you, and that even when the ghost in the machine did hurt, like Sharp, for instance, it's all, again, a mental manipulation, which causes your brain to fire your pain receptors to believe that it's pain, right? But the wounds on the corpse were very, very real, right? They did line up. Now, remember, you weren't able to give it like a thorough going over because shit ended up hitting the fan, and no one has the exact, like, medical examiner sort of knowledge to actually determine, but they sure seem to be lining up with what could be scalpel wounds, but it just doesn't track with what you know about Ghost in the Machine being light phenomena, right? Or holographic phenomena of some sort, right?
They kill you from your brain.
So just be aware that there's a disconnect there, right? Like that body may not have been the result of an encounter with that Ghost in the Machine.
Well, I think
more
Ted
reason to send
earlier.
David in by himself, right?
Yeah, true. But I think Ted had a really good point where there is a lot more, I think, to interact with in that room. It's just whether or not the risk is worth the reward. And I think we have to kind of come to that decision. I'm a little worried about the level that we're on now. I don't like the idea of a radioactive dude out here that is like sending out hit squads. Like, this was actually
Sudafed, though.
Yeah, we have the Sudafed. We'll be fine. This was actually like this interaction with this group of mercenaries, like in this one, is the first overt threat of physical death that we've come across, right? Like, we've come across other things that could be like tangentially, like maybe threats of death, like the androids in the blister pods or like whatever. But this is an actual free roaming vapor, if you will, of like violence, like potential violence that could happen. And to set the scale, we have a nail gun, not anymore, a revolver, and a shotgun. They have smart rifles, and I'm just like, we are massively outclassed here. I was like, when they first started making their noises, I was like, I'm finally going to leave some hats on the ground. I'm super excited. and then I hear what kind of guns they have, and I'm like, I'm not coming out of this room like ever.
That's a good move. Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, remember, Mike, the best defense is a good offense, and the best offense is the element of surprise. So the best way to deal with them is to shoot them before they even know you're there. And then
you were about to do that. You were like, really, I mean, until Thulsa was like, I'm going out to talk to them. Like, I thought that was how it was going to go down. Yeah.
It doesn't seem very sporting.
No, that's true. But we're clearly all androids anyway. Who cares if we're sporting or not? We're just emulating our programming. So we can do whatever we want. It'll be fine.
and don't think
you
that
seem fine with it.
This is what I think
for a
Monarch
minute.
is doing. This is what I think Monarch is doing. And I think this kind of comes from like one of the things that was written on the whiteboard. It was one of the things written on the whiteboard said something about like Android supremacy or androids going to other Android places or something along those lines. I can't remember the exact wording.
Android liberation on every station. Yeah.
Right.
From every station.
I think Monarch is creating like sleeper agents in the identity of delvers, and then sending them out on these like ships to go turn in whatever artifacts that people find worthwhile. And then they're going to make their way to these other Android artifacts or our Android like factories, and viva la revolution, my friend. Like, I think that's the whole point, is like all androids together, like under Monarch, like all over the galaxy. So
this is like Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah. It's freaking Cylons, man.
Oh, Cylons. Oh shit. Yeah, that's a pretty good one, Mike. I like that. That would explain the blockade. But if the artifacts are leaving the station because they're so interesting, and they're all sleeper somethings, they blow up at some point and infect people's brains or something.
Why else would an AI want to make as realistic androids as humanly possible, like indecipherable, unless you do like a major autopsy on them to determine if they're androids or not? It's the only reason is to create like some sort of like movement.
The irony of what you just said, though, Mike, that Monarch would try and make realistic androids, as realistic as humanly possible, which is not in fact what's happening. It's as monarchly possible.
Right.
But anyway,
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, and we all don't forget, we also have like, you know, one tick of evidence in our favor that we are not androids and that we weren't knocked out by that EMP, or at least Ted might still be an android, but I'm not, and you're not, because it fried David, but not us.
Yeah, but David might be a less advanced model.
yeah, he clearly is.
Okay, I'm just saying it's just like one bit of evidence. It's not conclusive, but it's a good one.
We know David is a basic bitch, and if, if he was,
There's obviously like
maybe a
no.
Monarch android would not have a problem.
I haven't like written this out or anything like that, but it's fairly like David's android model is I would, you know, it's similar to like the Ash David Bishop sort of thing on
Running
Alien, right? Where
Windows 95.
where they look like if you just saw like a still picture of that android next to other people, you would be like, oh, they're all humans, right? But the moment that you actually witness them, you'd be like, that's an android. Right. I mean, I guess like Ash, though, like no one really knew he was. That was like a reveal, right?
Yeah, he was able to hide it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even Bishop, they didn't know until he cut himself like with the knife trick.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
but
He
So,
hung out with him for hours ahead of time and never knew.
yeah. So
We
I would
knew.
say
The
well,
moment we saw him,
yeah.
we were like, that guy's funny.
Well, so I take that back. It's that the alien example is not a good idea. But he's like one step back from that, where he looks human, but his mannerisms and the way that he acts and probably moves and all that kind of stuff immediately sort of pegs him as an android. There's no
Kind of
real.
like David and Prometheus, though, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
He's not
more.
very human feeling, right? So
He seemed to be like less. Yeah, like maybe that's what I'm thinking more like what's that actor's name? Macbeth.
Michael Fassbender.
Fassbender. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I saw something the other day that pitched, and maybe you guys have already heard this. I'd never occurred to me before, but the woman, I think it's run over by.
Weaver?
No,
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron. Yeah, she's also an android, which is why she acts the way she does to Wayland. Is that his name, Wayland? She's like kind of. Like very subservient to him, not just in a I'm loyal, he's my boss kind of way, but like he's more of a creator kind of thing.
Wasn't she his son, his daughter?
I think that's the implication in the movie, but the theory is that in fact she's his daughter. She's actually an android.
Oh,
Yeah, where's her certified human badge, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen this movie in probably like 15 years or whenever the hell it came out.
It's been a minute, but I could see that. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's interesting. But anyway, going back to my Sleeper Society thing, I think that's what the deal is. And I think Monarch is relying on the fact that humans are greedy and will put greed over their own like races, like self-interest. So it creates these artifacts knowing that somebody like us is going to get them and be like, I'm rich and sneak my way out of here. And meanwhile, Ted is now a robot. You know, like, I mean, I think that's what's going to happen.
Well,
So-
here's the like where I'll give you a little peek behind the curtain with Thulsa's where Thulsa's at. She's not convinced that what's the company that we're working for? Forget her. Thelema, right?
Thelema, yeah.
That Thelema's better than Monarch, right? Like we don't have any direct evidence yet of what Monarch is like, but so far she knows that Thelema's horrible, right?
Right.
They basically enslaved us, right? And they put us in they put us in this, and we know that there's no way out. We know that we can try to get this money and whatever, and there's like the lure, maybe it'll work. But that's evil, right? Like that's really evil to do that to people. And hey, maybe we should be on the side of Monarch. We got to find out, like what he's pitching out, what he's laying down, because it might be better than what.
I'm just worried that
the
to be
humans
on
are.
Monarch's side means to be replaced by a pod person, right? Like Monarch's going to be like, "Thanks for joining my team. Get in the box."
90% pod people anyway.
It's an interesting conundrum because Thelema it's sort of like the enemy sort of thing, where Thelema you can be confident in the fact that you're dealing with human motivations, even if they're completely immoral and evil and all that kind of stuff. But when you're questioning like who to fight against, like Monarch, you don't know, you don't have that much intel, period. But based upon what you have, you're dealing with something that is not human, and that is completely amoral.
Right.
Not like more than just like not immoral, but amoral, right? With an intelligence that does not conceive of things in the same way that humans do, and so it's more of like a cosmic horrific thing rather than it's like uncaring Cthulhu behind, you know what I mean, behind the veils of night, sort of thing.
Funny you say that because I don't know if you guys have looked up Thelema, but it's the spiritual philosophy of Aleister Crowley, and basically all centered on this idea of do what thou wilt, right? So now I'm wondering, like, because of what we've been talking about, if you've got Thelema on one side, which is free will, and Monarch on the other, which is, enslavement, or whether in fact it's, somehow ironically reversed or what. But like we have not really explored the whole Thelema possible meaning of what's going on here. And if you think there aren't any, you're wrong. There definitely are, Mike. Like, you can see it on John's face.
No, that's not even my point, Ted. My main concern here is that, did you look that up, or was that knowledge just in your brain already, just kind of like Thelema?
Well, as a point of fact, when the first time John said it, I was like, I know that word, and I did have to go find it. But yeah, I knew what the Aleister Crowley thing was.
Well, I think that we go right back here to that the naming conventions in this adventure so far have been extremely on the nose. They're extremely literal. So you can literally make the allegory that Thelema is amoral, do what thou wilt. That is the letter of the law, etc. It's so funny how I know more about Aleister Crowley's teachings than I did about like Dante's Inferno. But it's like very on the nose, right? So we've got literally a place called hell, literally a place called Thelema. It's just like insane. It's insane.
Yep. Go ahead.
And the mythology of the Minotaur. I mean, that's a whole other thing, right? That you can look about, like this creature that's the product of gods meddling with humans and breeding of humans and demigod. It's interesting, especially when you look at what Monarch is supposedly doing. Right? Like trying to set itself up as this god and creating life. Yeah. And so this hybrid thing is right in line with that. It's
a symbol-rich environment, as I say.
Is Monarch going to appear to us as a golden shower? That's what I'm worried about.
Or a burning bush.
And then there's the whole the few tantalizing words you've heard about Prospero's dream. I want to take a look at that. And if you look at my cluster map, none of those names were chosen at random.
No, I noticed that as well. Yeah.
So anyways, we gotta wrap this up because
all right, that's too much talky.
Yeah, but it was a good discussion though. All right, we will leave it for next time. Bye everybody. Take care. Adios.